Good evening, YouTube. It's May 4th, 2022, Wednesday, and we have one heck of a situation going on. As I've said in the past, whenever you see Radar Omega, my personal radar app for PC, up, some big stuff's going down, and unfortunately, that tornado and severe weather threat that we had been talking about coming into Oklahoma City, Texas, it is unfortunately living up to the hype. We have multiple tornado warnings right now. We have a confirmed tornado that's on the ground that's been so intense that just now the National Weather Service had issued a mesoscale discussion. Now, I don't hear about them doing this often, so that definitely says that this is a big deal. We also have a confirmed tornado in Panhandle of Texas. It was towards Paducah earlier. Since then moved off, but it still has a tornado warning with it. But let's take a look at this storm that has hit Seminole, Oklahoma, and is affecting Cromwell as we speak, or Cromwell. So here's our storm right here. So we also get a little bit of a free tutorial. Oh my goodness. Look at this hook. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief rundown of what the heck is going on here. So basically, when you look at a supercell that has the potential to produce a tornado, here's a little quick tutorial here. You never want to see this. This is what you call a hook echo. In that hook echo, right where this icon is indicating, that's where the tornado is going to be. This little area here is where the warm air comes in and feeds energy into the storm. And then on the back side of this, the cold air wraps in behind it. It's a rear flank downdraft. And right up in there, right where you see, like I said, right where you see that icon is where the tornado is. It's a discrete supercell. There aren't too many cells out in front of it, so there's not really too much that this storm has to compete with. So this can keep producing strong to violent tornadoes all day, all into the overnight. Let's take a look at the correlation coefficient on this real quick. Oh, and just a heads up, correlation coefficient is a way we can pick up non-meteorological objects. And even though I'm zoomed out, I can clearly see that there is a debris signature. But what I was saying was the correlation coefficient is a tool that we use to look at meteorological and non-meteorological objects in the atmosphere. So if you see something like rain, you see this color here, red, a little bit of yellow. Occasionally you might see a green. But it's when you start seeing a condensed return like what you see here, off to the west of Cromwell on this. It's probably in Cromwell right now, unfortunately. That's when you start thinking, okay, there might be a tornado down. And lo and behold, there's a return right here, right where this tornado report is placed. So it's a horrible sight. This is one of the worst things to see versus actually being out there and watching it all unfold. Is watching the storm go through a town on radar and knowing that there's not much you can do about it. But hopefully, feel free to say a prayer for these guys. Feel free to say a prayer for these people in Seminole that got hit just a little bit ago. And I hate to say it, but odds are that this storm that's going through Cromwell right now, I don't see any reason for it to slow down. No storms to compete with it. Very favorable environment for supercells and tornadoes. Strong ones even, so it's a messy situation here. That being said, though, let's move on here because we got to talk about what the radar could look like into the overnight tonight. This isn't a fully loaded HRRR, but we'll be able to get the point with this. We talked about the parameters a lot yesterday. I'll leave a link in the video towards the end if you want to go back and watch that. And then I guess we talked about really tomorrow as well. So let's actually go into that really quick. There is an enhanced risk once again This includes areas like Little Rock, Shreveport, Mississippi, Lufkin, Waco, and northeastern Texas. Dallas, you guys are in a slight risk. Austin, you're right on the line for a slight risk. Alexandria, Louisiana, you're in there. Greenville, you're in there. Memphis, Tennessee, you're in there. Jackson, you are as well. And this even has now expanded and includes Nashville. We also have Springfield in play. Just from the shape of this, though, even without having to look at the hazard types, I could kind of tell this leans more towards a damaging wind threat more so than a tornado threat, but it isn't zero, so I'll have to watch this real close. Here's our wind threat and the reason behind our enhanced risk. We have a 30% area. Thankfully, no hatch risk at the moment, but this could easily change, so we'll have to be very watchful of this, very vigilant. Hail threat, it's a little bit lower. The lapse rates aren't as steep as what they are right now, ongoing, and I'm also been looking at a live stream here while I'm doing this video, and that 20 is just now hitting Cromwell. Daggone it. So then our tornado. So we move on to our tornado threat here. We have a 5% region for Waco, Shreveport, and Little Rock. And we have another 5% region right around Nashville. So we'll have to watch that extremely close. And this almost kind of has that gives me that deja vu look, because I remember a couple of years ago Nashville got hit by an EF3. And a setup that's not too far off from this, to be honest. Also, if you want me to kind of cover historic events like the Moore tornado or Nashville or just any other type of severe weather event, just hit me up in the comments. I'll be happy to make videos like this. I love doing this kind of stuff. So that's what we got for tomorrow's threat for severe weather. Also, while I'm at it, I will talk. I won't look into these super close, but last night I actually called my shot here, saying that there will be a slight risk of severe weather Friday. And lo and behold, guess what? Slight risk issued. Even includes my area. Should be fun. It should be fun because I love thunderstorms personally, and hopefully I even have a shot at trying to get some video for you or some photos or something. But yeah, we have New Orleans in this slight risk as well. Birmingham, Chattanooga, and areas east of Nashville. Timing of this, I think, is going to be early afternoon. I think this is also going to be a line of storms. Tornado threat is going to be a little bit more subdued. Also, forgot to mention Columbus, Georgia. You're in there as well. Marginal risk also includes, well, doesn't quite include Charlotte yet, but you guys, I might as well assume that you guys are in it because you're right on the line. Louisville, you're in play for this. Bowling Green, Evansville, Indiana. Looks like Jackson is in that marginal risk as well. So let's take a look at what the radar could look like through the rest of the night, and we can hope here that things will calm down somehow. I'm not very optimistic about it. I hate to say that, but I gotta be honest. I'm trying to be honest with you guys here. Things don't look good right now. So this is getting into the overnight hours. A line of storms form. Things starting to calm down a little bit. This MCS moves off to the north and east, and then on the southern end of it, a boundary set up and a new line of storms will form going into Thursday afternoon and into the evening, hitting areas like Little Rock. I think down towards the south, I think there's a greater tornado threat. So we've hit that 18-hour mark on our model run here, so we're going to jump this a little bit forward here. The NAM doesn't update as often, so we'll have to kind of work with that a little bit. I don't know how this thing got kicked out of the loop mode, but it's alright. sorry, you guys. I don't know what's been going on with me, but I've been really stuffy these last few days. I'm starting to wonder if I've developed an allergy. I've never had this problem before. But anyway, moving right along. What in the world? It did it again. I guess anytime that I click these hours over here, I lose the ability to do the loop. That's fine, I guess. Let's go on. Let's go on ahead. And we're getting to about 22 hours out. This is about where we were looking at with the HRRR. You can clearly see a line of storms. I do see a little bit of activity ahead of that line though, and that's the main thing that we always tend to be watching for the tornado threat. And lo and behold, look at that. Look at these dew points as well. 69. Sufficient instability available. We got capes in the averaging about maybe 1700. A little bit of a curve in the hordeograph. More than sufficient enough for tornadic development. Even has a supercell match on the sounding analogs. So we'll have to watch this. I do think that we did mention that the low-level jet was still pretty sufficient around here. So this moves further and further to the east, and I think into the evening hours towards eastern Arkansas. That's when I'm really concerned about another potential tornado threat. The low-level shear is very impressive. At the higher levels, that's where we're kind of lacking, which is a good thing. But I do see a little bit of a slight curve in this hordeograph. Not a very impressive one, but we'll have to watch these storms. Okay, so I'm expecting mostly damaging winds further to the south at this point. Once we get towards the midnight hours, if anything at all. This kind of has a really wacky look to it. I'm curious to see how this will change. Once again, good low-level shear and some mid-level shear even with this. So we'll see. We'll see what this does. So move this further along, and we will watch these storms reform Friday morning. Really start to blossom into the afternoon hours. This line looks a little bit discombobulated, I'm not going to lie. So it'll be interesting to see how things unfold Friday and who gets what. And oh wow, look at that. This is a very interesting hordeograph curve. A lot going on, a lot of doohickeys going on there. Yes, I said the word doohickeys. Bite me. But definitely something symbolic of a tornado threat. Once again, low-level jet is in play. We do have some shear, not as impressive as Thursday, but it's still there. Dew points in the 60s, temperatures in the upper 60s as well. So we'll have to watch that real close. Seems like this storm system just has so much tornadic potential. I do think this area to the south is also very interesting. I'm going to take a quick look at a couple of soundings there. If my computer will work with me here. Here we go. Yep, there we go. And this is a much more organized sound hordeograph here, so tornado threat does increase here. Significant tornado potential is low, but we have very high Cape values here. Shear isn't that impressive, but the instability definitely is. Once we get towards the mid-levels, it's almost next to nothing. So there isn't a super high tornado threat on Friday, but we'll have to watch this really close. So we'll move this further and further along. And I think towards the late evening hours, that's when my area, any of my folks in Atlanta, we're going to have to watch this real close. Oops, I might have clicked the wrong spot here. Oh no, I did not. Good grief. In fact, this looks like it's... Uh-oh. Went a little too far. Yeah, I see a very nasty look here. I think that this slight risk might expand a little bit further north too, because I do see plenty of activity, and it's on that. And I keep talking about it. It's on that southeastern flank of this upper level low. That's always a look. That's always a telltale sign that there is a greater tornado threat up here. So, I mean, this isn't really picking up on anything, but look at the difference in the wind shear. Look at these wind barbs all over the place. If anything, this kind of has a slightly linear look to it, but there is a curve in the hordeograph. I don't think the warm front reaches that far north, though, which might be a good thing, but these storms still look like they're pretty intense. So I wouldn't rule out a marginal area being issued around the Ohio Valley. So Saturday morning, coming into early Saturday morning, this is moved off to the east, and there might be a new severe weather area around here, probably a marginal risk. Meanwhile, we have another severe weather threat in the plains. We'll go over that in tomorrow's video. This is all I got for you guys tonight. Stuff is all yeah, I'm not feeling too great right now. But this has been Ty, your Metalhead Weatherman. If you're in Oklahoma, you're Cromwell, Okemia, or any areas any areas around Oklahoma City or around the Panhandle of Texas towards Lubbock, Paducah, just be careful tonight. Stay safe, and I hope you guys will be all right. But y'all all have a good, safe evening.